Hi, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Canty, and this is another episode of Living Enlightened Every Day. And today we're exploring that wonderful little saying, what you resist, persist. Did you know that it was Carl Jung who said that? I didn't either. Let's explore. Hi, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Canty, and I am passionate about helping people discover different ways to live life with joy, authenticity, and love, to truly love their life and live their passion under any circumstances. So I invite you right now to just check out who you are being right now. Just ask yourself, who am I being as I listen to this podcast? Are you being curious, excited? Are you looking for the gold or that gem of inspiration that will change your life? Because what you look for, you will absolutely find. And today we're exploring what you resist, persist. And I did not know that Carl Jung said that. I don't know why that makes it more official, because the only truth in a saying, or no matter how popular it is how it is true for me or for you in your life. And is it in fact true? And we can look at our experience and wonder, is this true? Has this worked in my life? And that phrase, what you resist persists, suggests that whenever we try to avoid something that we don't want to deal with, something that doesn't seem pleasant, something that we've judged as not good for us, that thing often ends up lingering. It ends up staying with us, or sometimes even growing stronger in our lives. It's what I talked about when I did the podcast episode, where your attention goes, energy flows. Even if we don't realize our attention is on resisting, that can be happening. We're actually putting attention and energy into resisting, and therefore we are creating or solidifying or strengthening that resistance. Isn't that crazy? The more energy and attention we give to resisting or fighting against something, the more power we give to that thing. And we can look at our society just to see some examples of this. I write about it in my book. Um, the war against cancer, the war against drugs, the war against all these things. And what happens is it becomes truly a battle and a clash of energy and will, rather than being with what is and helping others be with what is right where they are, whether it's cancer, whether it's drugs, whether it's being fired, whether it's the mortgage rates rising to where people can't afford their homes, whatever that is. It's like being with it instead of fighting against it. And what works, where is the inspired thought? Well, it can't come in because resistance is, to me, in my body, in my field of energy, resistance is like a contraction. And I become so contracted that it's almost like an armor. It's almost a denseness. And I might visualize it as thought can't come in, or I'm just so contracted that that expansion isn't allowing my mind to wrap around new ideas, new thoughts, new understandings, a new way of being with what is. So that's just sort of that basic idea of where our attention goes. If our attention is going to resisting, it keeps up that battle. When I said the war against drugs, there are countries who have decriminalized drugs, and instead they are really turning that around into resisting and criminalizing and doing things like that They are actually saying this is what is happening to people on the street, people in this situation, people who have chronic pain, whatever the situation is. This is what is happening. Let's deal with this with love and compassion and find solutions instead of warring against, being against, resisting. We can see it in other aspects of cultures and economies, but like I said, the best place to see it is within our own lives. So where we can just question right now, where in my life am I resisting something that's going on? Whether there's rumors that there's a restructuring at the workplace, or my partner has come to me and said, hey, I'm not feeling it right now. I'm not sure what to do about it, but but there's a big question mark. And we go into that immediate resistance. Oh my God, no, I can't deal with this right now. And we start going to our resistance mode. What is that? We might be drinking, we might stay out too late, we might complain a lot, we might, whatever that war against that situation is, we're going to start picking up our armor. We're ready for battle. And that is, again, resistance, because what is happening is going to happen. The planets are aligned. We didn't align them. They're happening. There are millions, billions of people, situations, events, and circumstances that are moving. We cannot control them all. What we can do is be right here in our heart center, in love and peace and in joy and compassion, open to what could be happening in this situation at work, in this situation with our relationship, or whatever it is. So instead of resisting, we look at some ideas, some approaches to accept or allow, my favorite words, accepting and allowing what is to be. And when we don't have the resistance, we don't have the thoughts that are bearing down on us or contracting us, we expand and we open to new possibilities, things that were never possible if the situation had stayed exactly like it was. So if we're at work, we might look at the idea of, instead of going in and saying, everyone's looking at me weird, am I on this list? I can't stand it. I just can't stand working under this pressure. And you start to make mistakes and things start going wrong. And now you think even more, I'm going to lose my job as part of this restructuring. Like, it just goes from bad to worse in our mind. That's our mind's idea. But if we walked in being curious, what would the possibilities be if I got fired? What would the possibilities be if someone else got fired, I moved into a new position? What would the possibilities be? We can just keep going. What are the possibilities that could be opening up for me? If I stay in this job, what do I love about it? What would I like to be changed? Isn't that curious? What brings me joy in this job, and what gives me tension? What do I have a chance of not recreating in the next situation? We could explore this in so many ways and so many meditations without anxiety, without stress, without judgment. Because until we're handed that paper that says your services are no longer requested here, we can just be in that open space. Most of us don't consider that an option. And sometimes we're surrounded by people who won't, they're saying, you have to do something, you have to go talk to them, you have to make this happen. And it might be out of alignment with what we're called to do or how we're called to be. So this is kind of we're looking for the constructive ways to be in change. But when we're in resistance, it's again that our attention is focused on resisting, whether we're resisting an emotion. We don't want to feel insecure. We don't want to feel afraid. We might be resisting the financial security. We might be resisting any kind of change. But whatever we're pushing away or sweeping under the rug, it's still there. And what, when we say sweeping under the rug or pushing it down, we're literally pushing that into our body, into places of our recessed mind where we can't see or feel, the neck becomes tense, the stomach starts to rumble. We can experience the resistance that we're not addressing. And there's something about that word, what we resist persists. It's just going to keep calling out to us. It's just going to keep calling out to us. Today, I had someone say, my job is not my source. God is my source. So a job is just where the money is flowing, where the recognition or the enjoyment of a job opportunity or a vocation is flowing through at this time. But spirit, life, all that there is who and what I am. If I truly trust in this, then it won't be that one place where my financial independence comes from. It could be, well, other than that one place, it could be anything, right? It could be anywhere, anyone, any situation, but we are focused on this one thing that is crumbling before our eyes. So it's that persistence calling to us to recognize a truth. What is true in this situation? Am I being authentic? Am I stepping into my knowing of source and supply or whatever it is? My love doesn't come from one particular person. Love is who and what I am. And if it is not able to continue to flow in this particular relationship in a way that makes sense to me, then I can accept this love flowing in, through, and as me and into other situations, relationships, and friendships that I have, knowing that that is forthcoming. I mean, it's who and what we are. We are created in and as love, and our expression of love can never be thwarted. Is that a word? Thwarted by any one person. They can't take away anything from us if they're changing the situation or the relationship. So it really asks us, these situations of change, to go to our truth, to go to our beingness, to release the resistance, the attachments, the judgments about the situation, to release the resisting of the situation, and to sink into what is true and what is real. I love that analogy, and I forgot who uses it. It might be Abraham Hicks. They talked about a cork under the water, holding a cork. Or I can, when I was a kid, we would take beach balls or floats and try to get the float all the way under the water. How many kids does it take to stand on a float to get it submerged? And of course, then it's just moving, and the pressure of all the kids' feet moving and the water moving and everything, it's moving it, and eventually it pops up with a force, and the kids, we all go scattering. And it's that same idea. We're pushing something down until the force of it is going to be released, and the situation is going to be made known whether we want it or not. So we might as well participate in it in a way that feels good for us, or we can express our authentic self in it. It's almost like many times our resistance is creating this angst and anxiety. Our resistance is an internal resistance. In other words, we're resisting something about ourselves, not even anything out there. We resist working out and getting healthy, even though we've had a recent checkup that suggests these could be potential problems if they're not addressed now. Well, we've heard that before, and we didn't make any changes. What are we resisting? What is the story that we have to tell to stay where we are? It creates an internal conflict. Part of us, if we are in agreement that there's There is a way I can be stronger or healthier or create more peace or more relaxation in my life. On the other hand, I don't. I don't do that. I don't take the time. I don't take the energy. I can afford to eat healthy food, and yet I choose not to. I choose to go to restaurants and order the high salt, high fat, high whatever content food that I love. I may call it comfort food. So now we have this internal conflict that it says, I know my body is telling me what's healthy. My mind is telling me what's healthy, but my body wants this and my mind is telling me it's okay. And it's the tug of war inside. And usually what wins out is how we've always been, what we've always done, how we've always chosen, because we haven't made the changes. We haven't created the acceptance, the allowing that allows for a new view, a new perspective. So that resistance keeps us stuck right where we are doing what we've always done. And many of us now know that internal conflict is stress. It is anxiety. It is judgments against ourselves. We get down on ourselves. We beat ourselves up and again continue in that negative pattern. And that in and of itself is just draining. As we get older, we have these several ways, maybe many ways that we've created resistance in our life. And I think I had Michael Mirdad on the show, and he was talking about the dark night of the soul, where all the things that we've swept under the rug, all the ways that we've resisted, all the ways that we have pushed things down might erupt. They might all come up at once to say, stop resisting, stop pushing this away, be the change. Be the change for our bodies, be the change for ourselves, be the change for our kids and our parents and our community. Change in the sense of we are always being called to be more of ourself and less of the story or the contraction or the separation. We're always internally, it's that cork, we're always being asked to be released and be our authentic expression of who and what we are. It creates a sense of freedom that we've never known before when we stop resisting. One of the things I really notice for me when I'm in resistance mode, and for me, resistance feels like attachment. It feels like I need everything to be the same. Don't change a thing. Nobody breathe. You know, is really what it feels like. There's that just holding your breath. When I am like that, maybe this is true for you as well. When I feel like that, there is no room for that inspired thought. There's no room for a new idea because all of our energy is focused on this idea of keeping everything exactly the way it is. There's no newness. There's no room. There's no expansion into infinite mind. For me, my creativity is really stifled. It's limited. I feel I experience myself as limited. And it's when we shift into allowing that everything seems to rotate and change in a matter of minutes, hours, or days. It's like where there seemed to be no possibility, nothing new available. Now there's all of these things coming into my view. I can see now. It's like things that were on the horizon that I could not see clearly are coming at me, and I'm like, oh, of course that's a possibility. Of course this is a possibility. Wow, I could not see that before. In resistance, when we become aware, we can see and notice the patterns of resisting that we are creating. Any place in our life that feels restricted, any place in our life that feels like we're not able to be our authentic self, any place where we feel small or weak. So it might be our body. If I haven't been working out in a long time, my body feels weak. And that somehow, for someone like me, it relates to me in my whole being. I do not feel myself as powerful when my body isn't feeling powerful. And maybe there's some of that for all of us to the degree that we can use our body in freedom, the freedom that is right now, not when we were 20, not when we were 40, but the freedom that we can feel for ourselves right now, right here. Instead of resisting and we see something coming and we allow it, all those different possibilities come up. But in that sort of visual for myself, there's that quote. It's that quote from Ted Lasso where he's quoting Walt Whitman, and it says, "Be curious, not judgmental." When we are not resisting, when we are when we're just neutral, or we're in accepting or allowing, we can add that element of curiosity. What is this bringing me? What is this about? And we can really look at it from that place of awe and wonder. We can be curious. And instead of being judgmental, remember I talked about judgment as a form of resistance. So we can be curious, not in resistance. We can be curious and open, not in restriction or contraction. And that to me, everything in our life is still going to happen. Change is the only constant. Nothing remains the same. Nothing at all could ever remain the same. But when we're curious, we find what is wonderful in this for me. What are the opportunities for me? What is the healing in here for me? What are the new friendships or growth or changes that are here to uplift and support me instead of to pull me down, right? So what we resist, persist, is that idea that fighting against something always adds power to the something and drains our power. It takes our, because our attention is out there. Our attention is on what we don't want, when instead our attention could be right back here, heart-centered, fully in infinite mind, expanding into that open, spacious place where ideas flow, creativity flows, joy, peace, and abundance flow. And we put our attention there. Then we are allowing for our strength and our power to be here. We are empowered to make changes. We are empowered to make decisions. We are empowered to be creative in a situation that is already happening anyway. Why not be empowered by it instead of pushing away and sending our power to it, giving our power over there, out there somewhere? We just pull it back in and allow ourselves to be right where we are, with love, with strength, with compassion, with power. From that place, for me, as soon as I make one decision to relax into it, to expand my awareness, to release resistance, one little thing may come to me. I may be able to make one decision or one step. I may not see the end result. I may not see what's wonderful that's coming. I may just have that one little baby step, that one decision, that one choice. But I'm making it with an open heart. And from that one place, I can see more things, more opportunities, more relationships, whatever it is, more ideas. And it's like, oh, I can make one more decision. And it might be just to take the next baby step, the next step. I may turn left, I may turn right. And then from there, there's more, and there's another opportunity, and more situations and events and circumstances reveal themselves. It's like the headlights in your car. They can't see all the way from Florida to LA. They can only see whatever headlights see, 25 feet, 50 feet in the distance. But when you get to there, when you get a few feet ahead, then you see another few feet and another few feet. It's that same thing. We're just giving ourselves the permission to be with what is in allowance and in acceptance, and to be joyful with it. And in that, ideas flow, creativity flows. So this week, I just invite you to be with that. We can look at the resistance in our lives. What has stayed the same or strengthened that is just calling for our attention, our love, and our allowance of it, so that we can be in love with it, whatever it is. It might be aging, it might be health related, it might be job related, or relationship with our children or our spouse or partner. Something we're resisting, and we know what that feels like. It doesn't feel great. Just go into that. What do you want to tell me? What do you want to show me? I'm willing now. I'm willing to go there and be led and have the light of love shine upon this situation. I'm not saying there won't be pain. I'm not saying there won't be something ending, but for every ending is a new beginning. For every ending, something is making way, something is making room for itself in our life that may not be visible yet. So we just look into where we are resisting, and we shine that light of love, allowing what is to be, and allowing a greater expression of who we are in it. And we are free, empowered, enlightened. So I invite you this week to just laugh, love, and live enlightened every single day. And if you liked this video, please hit that like button. Please subscribe, and you'll see other videos like this and so much more. I have wonderful guests coming up. I can't wait for you to meet them. And they talk about these incredible ideas from their unique, authentic expression. It's so much fun. And I hope you are living this and loving this as I am. Hit subscribe and share it with a friend. Maybe they're ready to stop resisting and giving away their power to that which is outside of themselves, and we pull our power back. Maybe they're ready to hear that this week too. Thank you.